Hey everyone, Ryan here, Avatar Productions, and welcome to my worst to first of every LEGO Star Wars May 4th promo ever. This has been one of the most requested worst to first videos for the channel, and today I am delivering by taking a look at each of the marquee May 4th promos from each year. So this technically won't include all of them because there are other promos that aren't the main promo from each year. Like last year, we had the Chuck E. Cheese token.
Hey guys!
Other lower tier May 4th exclusive items include some posters, some VIP reward items from the website, some make and take builds from the store, and things like this hat from 2013. So there are other May 4th exclusive items, but again, this video is solely about the top tier item from May 4th of each year. Now, unlike most worst to first, each of these items was a gift with purchase, meaning you couldn't just buy it. So you had to spend a certain amount of money to be able to get these items for free. So when I talk about a set or items threshold in this video, that is what I'm talking about. And finally, before I go and rank these, a small bit of history on the LEGO Star Wars May 4th promotion. It started back in 2009 with a simple poster. Following that, we had a sticker sheet and then 6 good years of polybag minifigs. Then we had the polybag builds, followed by the 3 diorama sets, and we've kind of maybe re-entered a golden age in the last 3 years with much better sets. So here you can see the order in which all of these May 4th promos were released and how things have changed and gotten worse and better over the years, and now let's dive into it with what I think is the worst May 4th top tier promo of all time. Because if it weren't the top tier promos only, our silver Chuck E. Cheese token would be taking home the gold.
Hey guys!
Alright, after a lot of consideration, and I have been pretty heavily involved with LEGO Star Wars the entire time that May 4th promos have been coming out, I think to me there is unequivocally one promo that stands out in my mind as the worst, and partially because it was the most disappointing, but I also think LEGO knew it was the worst at the time, and also some of this list is somewhat adjusted for when it was released, but we'll get to that. The worst promo of all time, in my opinion, has to be the First Order Stormtrooper from 2016. This was one of the biggest disappointments of my life when it comes to LEGO Star Wars. It was the beginning of the end, let's put it that way. This thing was so awful to so many people because we were coming off a year in 2015 where we had Admiral Yularen, the year before we had Darth Revan, and there were high hopes for 2016 with The Force Awakens having just released. A lot of people really were hoping for a chromed out Captain Phasma as the May 4th promo. And then we got a First Order Stormtrooper, which had a slightly different torso print to make it the May 4th minifigure. And that slight difference is compared to the First Order Stormtrooper in a battle pack. I mean, this was an all-time disappointment. And LEGO knew that this minifigure would not entice purchases, so much so that the threshold was only $50 of LEGO Star Wars purchases to get this for free. For reference, the previous 5 May 4th minifigs all had a threshold of $75. So LEGO literally lowered the barrier to entry to get this figure because they knew nobody would want it that much. Like, that's insane to me. They knew it was that bad from the beginning that they lowered the threshold for everyone. So I think this is legendary for the disappointment that it caused in the community. I think it's legendary for the level of laziness, and there's a chance that Disney forced them to do something from The Force Awakens, and so they had to hurry to get something lame and boring together, and that's how we ended up with this. But I also see this as the beginning of the end, the demise of May 4th, because following this, it was like 5 years of crap for May 4th, and I view this as the catalyst for them to get rid of minifigs for May 4th promos. So for so many reasons, this was the worst main May 4th promo of all time for me. What a letdown. Immediately following the fiasco of the First Order Stormtrooper, LEGO went back to the drawing board and released the R2-D2, and I think this is the second worst May 4th promo of all time because instead of following up the terrible First Order Stormtrooper with another like way cooler minifigure, LEGO went back to the drawing board and they released a R2-D2 polybag, a polybag that for all intents and purposes could have just been sold at Walmart and Target like every other polybag build that they've done. But this one had to be a May 4th exclusive for some reason, and I find it to be incredibly lame as a May 4th exclusive. It's like a cool polybag. It's not a terribly designed thing, but as a May 4th set, I don't think it was the move. Now, its threshold was also $50, so I don't see it as like crazy overpriced as far as GWPs go. I just thought it was a lame thing to follow up what people saw as a really lame promo the year before with something that certainly wasn't much better. We received what I saw as the lesser of two evils in the BB-8 poly bag. I actually thought this one was kind of cool because he kind of rolled around on his bottom. Like, it was kind of neat the way this thing worked, and it had a bunch of really nice BB-8 prints, so it was cool for that. But again, like the R2-D2 the year before, I saw this as something that really should have just been released as a $5 poly bag at Walmart and Target, and not something that was in my head, and certainly just factually, taking the place of what could have been a really rare and cool and interesting, unique minifigure that we wouldn't have gotten otherwise for May 4th in 2017. Instead, we have a BB-8 polybag. And then, because I think the way I do, you know, you're doing these May 4th promos year over year, you would think there would be some consistency in the packaging, but even the packaging was different sizes with these, which doesn't make sense. It's like you should have things that match if you're going to do year over year promos, and I don't know, these just never felt special to me. This one's threshold was also $25 more than the R2-D2. It was $75. I attribute that to this having more prints than the R2-D2 is why it costs more to get, but either way, I still see it as the better of the two. I like the build more, but I don't think either of them were great May 4th promos. For 13th place, this is kind of where the water gets murky for a minute, because this is the first LEGO Star Wars May 4th promo. It was this poster. I thought I had the poster, but it turns out this is a different poster than the poster that they released for May 4th in 2009, but they were just dipping their toes in the water. They didn't really know what May 4th was supposed to be. That's why I saw those last three that we talked about as so bad, because they came after so many things that were so good. But for the start of May 4th promos, this poster was pretty cool. It was kind of a celebration of 10 years of LEGO Star Wars. It showed a bunch of the figures, and the threshold was literally anything. You could buy a keychain for $4. You would have gotten this for free. You could have bought the UCS Millennium Falcon at the time, which I think was actually on sale that May 4th. They actually had an error, I found out while researching this. They had it for 75% off instead of 25% off. So that 2007 UCS Falcon had a ridiculous sale. It was either this year or the next year, but either way, it was insane what happened with that. It might not have been 2009, actually. It might have been 2010 or 11, but either way, this poster as the first ever May 4th promo without having the reference of like how great May 4th could be, I think was okay. It was pretty cool to have a bunch of the characters on the poster. Unfortunately, I don't have it here physically yet. I did order one as soon as I realized I didn't have one, but it won't be here in time for this video. So yeah, that was the very first May 4th promo ever. Definitely a stinker by today's standards. We get like posters from time to time from LEGO Star Wars, but they aren't like the main thing. This is the main thing today. Would be a bummer back in the day, whatever. This Worst to First is sponsored by Rakuten. Rakuten is the largest cashback site, partnering with over 3,500 retailers across every shopping category, and I use it every May 4th when I buy LEGO Star Wars sets online. So not only do I get all of the May 4th promos, this year I got an extra $4.15 in cash back, debatably more valuable than some of the promos. All you have to do is click through to LEGO from Rakuten, or you can download the browser extension so you never forget. When you sign up now through May 13th during their Festival of Savings event, you can get an extra 10% cashback boost at select retailers on top of the base 15% cashback deal. This means up to 25% cashback at select retailers. Just make sure you make that purchase before the Festival of Savings event ends. Just click the link in the description below to download Rakuten with my link, and you can add Rakuten to your May 4th tradition to get cashback every year. At number 12, the 2010 May 4th promo, I just view as like a little bit cooler. It's got this really awesome white Boba Fett art on it. It's got the LEGO logos in the background, and actually some of the theories at the time in 2010 seemed to be that the white Boba Fett figure was going to be the May 4th promo for that year. And maybe that was the plan, because this certainly matches that and would be like a good low tier promo to the white Boba Fett, but that didn't end up panning out. Now, this was free. So like, that's what I mean. It was completely free. Any purchase, $4, $400, it didn't really matter. Part of what makes this cool to me is that they are numbered. So mine here is 10,265 out of 20,000. So that was it. Like, I think promos today, they probably make 100,000 of, but back in the day, it was just 20,000. It listed off a bunch of the summer sets that were supposed to come out in June or August of that year. And then on the inside, it was actually pretty neat because it had the approved production look for all of the minifigs that were coming in the summer wave of that year. So this was a pretty cool promo just for the fact that it was a bit of a preview, also this was a time when LEGO Star Wars summer sets would get like revealed in February from Toy Fair, so it wasn't like you hadn't seen these before, by the way. It's not like it is now where we won't see August stuff until July, but it looked really neat as kind of a display poster piece, either way you wanted to turn it, and they were also stickers, so you could, I guess if you were a kid and wanted to, pull them off, use them as stickers. It was just a neat little promo for the time either way, but again, by today's standards, this thing would be an absolute dud. I would hate it, but adjusting for the time, for not having any point of reference of what May 4th could have been, this was okay. At number 11, we have the 2013 Hoth Han Solo polybag minifigure, and this one at the time is kind of mixed. So there had been Hoth Han Solo figures before, although the outfit was different. You had a blue outfit. This one was done in a brown outfit, so it was more accurate to what it was supposed to depict, which was great. But we have had more Hoth Han Solos released since, which has made this feel less cool to me because they're just so similar. It's just like, well, why make it the May 4th figure if you're just going to release more of the same figure later anyway? What's the point? Like, kind of takes away from the uniqueness of it and the drive to want to go out and get it. This one also did have a $75 threshold, but I think for the time in 2013, it was pretty cool. It was a good combo with another set that was releasing at the time with a Hoth playset from 2013, so you could get this with that, and yeah, you got the Hoth Han Solo with the Hoth set. That was nice. So I feel like this is the only May 4th promo that has kind of gotten worse as time has gone on because they've just released basically the same figure like 2 or 3 more times, which completely gets rid of the point of having done this as your May 4th figure. So yeah, that's the Hoth Han Solo from 2013. I'm pretty indifferent about it. I don't like openly hate it, but it's just become kind of lame over time. At number 10, we have LEGO's 2019 attempt to revitalize May the 4th Be With You. This was following the R2-D2 and BB-8 poly bags, which must have not done too great if they were already switching off to another concept. And this one only required a $75 purchase as well. If you remember, the BB-8 required a $75 purchase, so you're getting much more bang for your buck here, which was awesome, like absolutely, unquestionably great. But, you know, May 4th to me at this point in 2019, I'm just looking back on it. It's like, man, the minifigs, where'd they go? Why did we not get a minifig in this set? Why did we not go back to minifigs? And it's not like LEGO couldn't have just thrown a figure in here on the side as part of the value to it. Like, to me, that was just so disappointing seeing them bring in a new concept, but that didn't include figures. This one wasn't too bad. Like, it's a cool display piece, although I would say the AT-AT is a bit blocky, and that's why I think this is the worst of the 3 diorama May 4th promos. I did like that they included the 20 years of LEGO Star Wars logo on that, but I did mention earlier about how I see consistency in packaging and things like that as an important thing. And part of that would be the fact that you have the 20 year of LEGO Star Wars logo on the front of this diorama set. And then moving into our number 9 slot in 2020, we had this set come out. The Death Star 2 Battle, it also had a $75 threshold. So again, pretty good value for your money on a gift with purchase. But they went and changed the display plaque to a LEGO Star Wars logo with the year 2020. So it's like, why not have the one from the year prior have the LEGO Star Wars logo with the year 2019? Obviously, the answer is it was an anniversary set and they wanted to include an anniversary plate. But if you're thinking long term, trying to make all of them match on display, that's just where I feel like you should have something that has the year just like it does for your next 2 versions that are coming out. But specifically to the Death Star 2 battle set, the reason this one isn't the highest of the 3 dioramas is that I think the TIE Interceptor looks pretty rough, especially when built in person. I do think I remember liking the A-Wing. I think the A-Wing looks nice, certainly looking at it on the box. And then the actual trench build of this is pretty dope. It's got some really cool techniques, and the way it's built on its side is really cool. All 3 of the diorama sets here really are built pretty cool, but I just don't think they make the greatest May 4th promos. So anyway, that's the Death Star 2 battle, and that brings us into what I thought was the best of the 3 diorama sets that they did with the 2021 Tatooine Homestead set. It did have the proper tile that matches the other one from 2020, but this one does say 2021. It's got tons of micro minifigs using studs, which is really cool. You can pick out some of your favorite characters on there for sure. It's got a very small sandcrawler that includes a printed 2x2 tile to actually get all of the detail on the side of the sandcrawler. We also have the world's smallest Luke's land speeder, and then of course the Tatooine Homestead, and then the underground area. I mean, this thing is a really dope set. I just don't love seeing stuff without figures for May 4th, which is why this isn't higher. But honestly, like, this isn't bad. It's not bad at all. It's honestly, for what it's supposed to be and what it is, it's about perfect. The only downside to this one versus the other ones, while I think it's the best build of them, is it did require an $85 purchase instead of the $75 purchase that the other sets needed. So you did need to spend a little bit more to get this one, but honestly, the $10 difference on what you needed to spend really doesn't make a difference to me with these here. Like, this one is just still really cool compared to the others to me. Getting into the top 7 here, I think this is where things get quite exciting, and for a $75 purchase in 2015, you would have gotten Admiral Yularen, a character that is few and far between from LEGO Star Wars. Certainly, we recently got a Clone Wars version of this character finally, but the Imperial version, definitely a very cool and timely May 4th promo to get here. I believe around this time he was appearing in Star Wars Rebels, and I think that's why they they made this figure here, and certainly the box art represents Star Wars Rebels, although it doesn't always match, obviously, back in this era, what was included in the package. Definitely a very cool Admiral Yularen figure. If you're going to say anything bad about it, it is kind of just a bland figure. It's an Imperial officer at the end of the day, but it's a pretty cool, unique named character that we got for May 4th this year, so it's number 7. At number 6 from 2023, the Death Star 2. You had to buy $150 worth of LEGO Star Wars sets to get it, which I don't think is a completely unfair value, but when you compare that this one only needed $85 and it feels like about the same amount of stuff, honestly, the doubling of price might be a bit of a scam there. It's hard to tell, though, with promos, but I still look at this as an excellent promo. Now, could it maybe use a minifigure? Yes, absolutely. I still think this one should have had a figure. Like, at its base, they did include a 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi brick, which was nice, but it was also available in other sets, so it wasn't like exclusive or anything. And for those of you currently writing your comment about, Ryan, why would they include a minifigure in this Death Star? It doesn't even have space for a minifig. It's not minifigure scale. Well, yeah, the history of LEGO says otherwise. For this Avengers promo, they did include a Iron Man Tony Stark figure down there, and obviously the Avengers Tower is like a micro scale, just like this Death Star is, so there's no reason this set couldn't have had a minifigure. They just didn't include one, and honestly, if it had a figure, it'd probably be a couple spots higher for this list. It is still a really cool promo, and I think just sheerly based on the quality of the build and how cool it was to finally get a Death Star build that wasn't $300, $400, $500, because basically that's the only way you could have gotten a Death Star build before, was pretty cool to me. So I think it gets an added nudge of appreciation because it brought the Death Star to people's houses without having to have a $300, $400, $500 Death Star that takes up an entire shelf, an entire table. Like, those Death Stars are huge, but this one, much more reasonably sized, can kind of fit anywhere in your collection, and you didn't have to spend so much money on it. So yeah, I thought this one was a good promo. It really was just lacking a figure. With purchases of $75 or more in 2012, you would have gotten this amazing chromed out TC-14 minifig, and it's an amazing promo for so many reasons. But I also want to add that this chrome figure is the reason a lot of people thought that we could have gotten a chrome Captain Phasma in 2016 instead of that terrible First Order Stormtrooper that ended up last on the list. Just imagine how different things could have been. And then maybe we wouldn't have gone through that drought without figures for so long. But this 2012 figure was amazing for so many reasons. The first of which is that this was 2012. They were re-releasing the Phantom Menace in theaters in 3D around that time, so they released a very timely Phantom Menace promo, and it was a character done in a way that would have never been done in an official set. They would have never released a TC-14 like this in any set, and certainly I don't feel like there's been an opportunity for this figure that's been perfect like this promo since then. So I feel like this was just such a great timely release of a figure done in a way that we would have never seen it done in a way otherwise, and for that reason, it has become a very legendary May 4th figure. It's not the best, it's not the most sought after, I think, but it's so well executed, it's so cool, and you can just never go wrong with chrome figures. So that's number 5 on the list, and let's move on to number 4. The Lars Family Homestead Kitchen, free with purchases of $160 or more, and this combines the best of both worlds. This, to me, is the ideal modern May 4th promo. I still wish they would go back to polybag minifigs. I don't think they will, but if we can get more promos like this is kind of where it's at. So we have Aunt Beru, exclusive minifig. There's just very little chance we would have seen her otherwise. We hadn't seen her to that point, 23 years into LEGO Star Wars at that time. So clearly it was a good figure choice for something that we hadn't really gotten yet. Well, did we get her as a skeleton in any of those sets? This is also the type of set that they would not have made otherwise. They were never going to make an Aunt Beru's Kitchen set as an official LEGO Star Wars set that you could buy at Walmart and Target for $20, $25, whatever it would cost. Like, this is just such a cool promo of a small scene from A New Hope. It even shows it on the back of the box where you can see them in the kitchen. I guess maybe because they show Owen Lars, you can make the argument that he should be included, but I still feel like this kitchen is incredibly detailed. There's so many cool things inside of it done in such the perfect scale. I do wish the blue milk would have been printed like it was in the Blue Milk Luke polybag. That would have been a nice touch to just add in here. Oh, speaking of nice touches, I almost forgot. There's a very small, tiny Luke's Landspeeder included in this one as well. Can you believe it? So I think this is a great promo just because it's a very unique build we wouldn't have seen otherwise, and it's got a great exclusive, unique minifigure. At number 3, we have the most recent of the May 4th promos as of the release of this video, and that is the Trade Federation Troop Carrier for 2024. This one is for the 25th anniversary of LEGO Star Star Wars and the 25th anniversary of The Phantom Menace, it required a purchase of $160 or more, which seems fair. Its biggest criticism for most fans is that it's an army builder and you just want to buy more and you wish you didn't have to spend $160 to get it, which I think inherently makes it a good promo if it's so desirable. But I also agree army builders really shouldn't be behind a gift with purchase, but also battle droids are a dime a dozen, so I'm just not worked up about it at all. More specifically, the reason I see this as a top 3 LEGO Star Wars promo for May 4th of all time is that it's a throwback to the original 2001 droid carrier set number 7126, and it's meant to play on those nostalgia strings, not necessarily to be a battle pack for droid army builders, which I thought was a pretty cool way to go about it. Now, it technically is, because of that, a set that LEGO would release otherwise, unlike the Lars family kitchen homestead. Like, I understand that point of view, but because it pulls on the nostalgia strings, like, I think this works great for fans that love classic LEGO Star Wars, and it's a rebuild of a classic LEGO Star Wars set, and it kind of, leaves some play features and accuracy on the table because of that. And that's probably why they didn't release it as its own set, is because it is not meant to be the best version of the thing that it is. It's meant to be a recreation of a version of a thing from 2001, which certainly by today's standards wouldn't be so great. So I love just so many similarities that you see between this build and the build from 2001. That's what's got me just so excited about it. It does technically have an exclusive figure with the Battle Droid pilot, although I assume they will release them exactly as is in a future Battle Droid set when they need a Battle Droid pilot. So I don't look at this as having an exclusive figure or anything. I still feel like that's where LEGO Star Wars should be going. It'd be cool maybe if they gave you like an exclusive Gungan taking them on, like that would have been neat. But regardless, exclusive figure or not, I feel like this is an amazing promo set, and it's something that I am just in love with because of the nostalgia. At number 2 on the list, after a lot of deliberation, and it really could go either way, I could flip back and forth on this every week of my life for the rest of my life, but I'm going with the Shadow ARF Trooper at number 2 today. Now, the reason I didn't put it at number 1 is because it's not something we see in the movies or in the shows. It does get way up there to number 2 because of the rule of cool. It is just very cool. It required a $75 purchase back in 2011 when it was available. It was also the first May 4th minifig, and they really started with a bang. They were like, let's just do something cool, and they did, Like, I really wish, and I feel like they have kind of gotten back to that lately with LEGO Star Wars promos, but there was that era for about 5-6 years where it's just dud after dud, and it wasn't cool like this was. It wasn't cool like number 1 is going to be, but this one was cool. The Shadow ARF Trooper, just an amazing figure. Of course you'd want to army build it like you might want to army build the droid carrier we just looked at. I wish I could own 100 of these, but it's still a really great promo. I honestly have no idea how they came up with the concept. If I ever had the opportunity to ask one of the older LEGO Star Wars designers, I would definitely ask about how this came about because it's just so cool to me. But yeah, the Shadow ARF Trooper from 2011, an all-time great May 4th promo, and certainly maybe your favorite, but for me, it's coming in at number 2. And finally, in my opinion, the number 1 main LEGO Star Wars May 4th promo of all time, Darth Revan. From 2014, he required a $75 purchase to obtain, and this one is number 1 for the rule of cool. Also, he's actually from the Old Republic, and this is something that they haven't made otherwise. They wouldn't have made otherwise. Like, they had made some Old Republic sets around this era, but he wasn't fitting in any of them because they could have conceivably put him in one of them maybe, but I guess they couldn't find a spot for him. So the May 4th figure, it was for Darth Revan. And this is a very well executed minifigure. It looks really good. It has aged very well. About 10 years later now, it still looks like it is essentially a modern LEGO Star Wars minifigure. So I love this one. I think it's got the rule of cool. It's from something. It's got meaning to a lot of people. And while I know it hasn't been a big topic in this video, that $75 threshold seemed pretty fair for the Darth Revan figure back in 2014. So that is my worst to first of all 16 main LEGO Star Wars May 4th promos for the last 16 years, dating back to its beginnings in 2009 all the way through 2024's Droid Carrier. If you guys did enjoy, hit the like button. If you have any opinions on this list and the order of things and different May 4th promos, drop them down in the comment section below, and you can subscribe for more LEGO Star Wars content. See ya.